Hello everyone, my name is Hiyu and I'm a Master Tier TFT player. I've been playing the game since Set 1 and in today's video I'm gonna show you some tricks and tips to climb out of Gold or Platinum Elo. The video could be suitable for people who have already got some basic game knowledge but still get stuck in Gold or Plat. Big disclaimer though, this guide is not for high Elo players, so keep in mind that many things in this video are not very applicable in high diamond or above. First, play standard comm. Normally I use tfttactics.gg to see what comms are in meta right now and try to build my board around it. Oftentimes I see gold players just come up with their own comm, like Sharpshooter Divine or even Moonlight Cultist. Most of the time it didn't work, so for me, sticking to a specific comm that has been thought out by pro players is always a good choice for beginners. For examples, if you get a lot of BF sword in early game and decide to play Talon, go with this Enlightened Assassin comm. Don't try to modify it because it's not gonna be optimal like the original comm. Of course, it's not like you're gonna have perfect comm all the time, but if you can, just stick to the original comm. In low elo, don't try to be flexible. Be consistent. Second, maining 2 or 3 comms. Maining comms have many advantages. First of all, since you main one comm, you know exactly what you need. It helps a lot when you roll down fast. You don't miss your units because you're already familiar with all the units that you want. Second of all, it helps a lot with picking up items from carousel. For example, when you are playing Talon comp but in the carousel there is no more Talon items left, you can go for a rod to prepare a Murillo for Morgana later. Those little things could have a huge impact on your games and increase your win rate. Also, maining comms mean being consistent, and consistency is the key to climb. Imagine trying to play a new comm every game. You would probably never have any knowledge of any comms at all. In my opinion, for beginners, they should always start the game with the intention of forcing 2 or 3 comms. I myself force comms all the time even when I play in high diamond or in master. Try to main more than one comm. It gives you more options to play the game. Third, how to play early game and transition. Basically, there are 2 types of comms, high cost unit comm and reroll comm. High cost unit comms are comms that rely on 3 or 4 cost units. For example, Dusk relies on Riven, Divine relies on Warwick. Reroll comm, on the other hand, are comms that rely on 3-star low cost units like Duelist or Nami. High cost unit comm. To play this kind of comm, you have to play the strongest board you have in early game and slowly make transition into your end game comm. For example, if you play Dusk, of course you will hardly ever get an early Riven or an early Jhin at level 5. So basically you play something that is not Dusk at the beginning of the game. Just don't try to be like, if I play Dusk, I will only buy Dusk unit. You would probably bleed out most of your HP by the time you get the final form of the comp. For example, if I have an intention of forcing Dusk and see a chosen Vanguard Hecarim, I could pick him up and maybe play him for my early comp. So the question is, when would I sell my chosen unit and try to transition? For me, whenever I play comps that requires a high cost carry units like Riven or Ashe, I always keep my board until I hit level 7. Most of the time it's gonna be at Wolf's round. Then I will sell my chosen one and all of the units that I don't need for my final comp and start rolling down to find the unit that I need. I think level 7 is the sweet spot to complete your comps. Also, try to buy units that you need on the way to level 7 and keep it on bench so that by the time you decide to pivot, you already have most of the required units. For example, if you see a Cassiopeia level 5 when you're trying to go for Dusk, just buy her. you don't necessarily have to play her right at that moment. Just keep her on the bench and swap her in later when you decide to pivot. When you hit the 50 gold mark, you keep spending gold to level up. There are two scenarios. If by the time you hit level 7, you already are low in HP, let's say 30 or 40, you have to donkey roll down to find units to stabilize your comm and stop bleeding out. If by the time you hit level 7 and still be healthy and not contested, let's say 60 HP or above, you can slowly roll for high cost units, which mean not spending gold when you are at 50 gold to have infinite econ. Reroll comm. If you try to main a reroll comm like Duelist or Nami carry, the strategy is a bit different. You have to have an early chosen Yasuo or a chosen Nami to actually play the game. If you hit chosen Yasuo early, you try to pick up as much Yasuo as possible without rolling at all. And right when you hit the 50 gold mark, you keep slowly rolling down to 50 gold, trying to 3-star your Yasuo. You should in most cases hitting your 3-star chosen before level 6. If you are about to hit level 7 and still couldn't find the 3-star units that you need, you kind of have to donkey roll to your golds to find it, especially when you are low in HP. Fourth, how to econ by selling bench. One common mistake of beginners in TFT is that they keep too many unnecessary units on the bench. Saving up gold early is so important because during the game, there will be one time that you have to roll down to find units. So the more gold you have, the higher chance that you can hit the units that you need. For me, I only keep units that I think might fit in my board right in the next level, or if I have extra gold to keep them. Try to skim and clear up your bench to make gold if you can. Oftentimes you will see high elo players have more than 50 gold and at the same time be level 7 at Wolves. Economy is one of the first priorities in this game. A good econ might save you from a fast 8. Fifth, stop rerolling. Rerolling in early level might be the most common mistake of all TFT beginners. Imagine this. You are playing a duelist comp and for some reason you have a pair of Callista at early level 4 with only 25 gold. You would probably think it's time to roll for the third Callista because anyway Callista 2-star is pretty strong. And after spending all of your 25 golds to reroll, you couldn't find the third one. The reason is you're just at level 4, which only has 15% of having 3 cost units in the shop. Just stick to the rule. Try not to reroll before hitting 50 gold mark. Sometimes if you really low roll and your HP is really low, like 40 HP at Wolves, then you might roll a bit to stabilize. But in general, don't roll before 50 gold. 6. Start level up early. As I said before, good economy is one of the first priorities in this game, but it's clearly not the only one. If in a game that I have early win streak, I would spend gold on leveling up to put in more units if I think I can maintain the win streak by doing so. Spending gold on leveling up is nothing like spending gold on rerolling. Rerolling is 100% gamble. Leveling is not. Sure, you will lose your economy, but you will guarantee to upgrade your board by leveling up because you would have more units and better synergy. And by maintaining the win streak, you would probably earn back more gold. Leveling up early is more than just about keeping your win streak. Leveling up early means you will stay healthy for the early game, and even if you find yourself in a low roll game, you wouldn't end up 8th place, because you already have a good early game and might only get 5th or 6th place. Sometimes I even level up early even when I don't have a win streak. I just do it to stop bleeding out and lose as little HP as possible. So, try leveling up early for yourself and see what the result turns out. 7. Stop trying to 3-star your whole board. Another common mistake of beginners is that they keep units on the bench to try to 3-star them all. For example, When you play Elderwood and already got a 2-star Lulu, stop buying more Lulu, especially when it messes up your economy. Lulu is not a core unit in this comp. Your priorities is a 3-star Vhagar, not a 3-star Lulu. If you can improve your economy, then just sell her, because you're gonna need gold for other units than a 3-star Lulu. Even if you can 3-star her, she's gonna be a 3-star Lulu with no items. And by keeping that Lulu, you would reduce the chance of getting a 3-star Vhagar early. If you're trying to 3-star anything that is not your core units, make sure that it doesn't mess up your economy. So please, stop trying to 3-star everything. 8th, itemization. Are we trying to get perfect items for your core units? Sometimes I see people just put your gauntlet on your chosen Akali, which is the worst item compared to Infinity Edge. So how do you know what is the perfect item for your core unit? Just check on websites like tfttactics.gg. Itemization for core units are so important in late game. For me, good economy is a condition for top 4, but perfect items is the condition for winning the whole game. You can still find yourself losing the game if you have a 3-star Vhagar, but he doesn't have a blue buff or gunblade. Or your 3-star Kali doesn't have a rapid fire cannon and Infinity Edge. So try to have perfect items if you are aiming for first place. But it's not always the case that you can have perfect items on your core units. Maybe because you're always top 2 or top 1 during the game and get last pick in carousel. Remember this, some core units can be good with many types of item variation. For example, Jinx can have blue buff instead of a Spear of Sojin if you can't find a BF Sword in early game. Or an Infinity Edge with Titan Resolve can be just as good as Guardian Angel with Hand of Justice on Yasuo. Or Jhin is good with any items that are made from a BF Sword. Another advice about items is trying to slam items in early game. If you are forcing a comp and get items components that you don't really need, just make a defensive items and put it on your front line or your non-core unit. For example, if I'm trying to play sharpshooter and I get a giant belt and a chain vest in early game, I could just make a Sunfire cape and put it on a front line. Making items in early game could save you so much HP and even help you maintain the win streak. 9. Start selling early chosen. Last but not least, trying selling your early one-cost chosen units in mid-game most of the time is right when you hit level 7 or when you think your board can still be strong if you sell that chosen unit. Oftentimes I see beginners keep their one-cost chosen for the entire game even when that chosen is never gonna be a 3-star or not a core unit. Play early chosen to keep yourself healthy enough for mid-game, then sell it to look for a better chosen unit. Don't try to 3-star a chosen unit and keep it for the entire game. For example, if I play Sharpshooter Vanguard and I find an early chosen Wukong, I would just play him for early game and never try to 3-star him, simply because he's a bad chosen unit in late game. In this comp, a 2-star Sejuani or 2-star Aatrox will 100% provide more value than a random 3-star Wukong with no items on. So that's the end of my video. I'm sure there are still many more tips out there for beginners that I cannot cover in one video. But nevertheless, I hope you find some useful information for yourself when trying to climb in TFT. If you still have any question, just comment below this video and I will try to answer them as quickly as possible. Or you can message me on Discord at Hiyu #0110 if you need any coaching in TFT. By the way, I don't charge coaching, it's completely free. Also, I do have a small Twitch channel that I mostly stream TFT on. So come check it out if you feel like. For now, goodbye and stay high roll. See ya!